welcome to another episode of the Millionaire Mentor Method podcast with your host, Krystal, also known as the most famous woman in the world. So today I wanted to talk about an interesting subject, which is how to protect your time as a business owner or freelancer, or really honestly just as anyone. But especially for business owners. And the reason why this topic is so important is because when you tell people that you own a business, or people know that you're a business owner, most people in society, and you have to realize this, most people are not a small business owner. Most people are wage earners in America. And that is just a fact. That's a statistic. So what you're doing and what your job actually entails is totally foreign to most people that you're going to interact with on a daily basis, including your family, your friends, romantic interests, employees. Most people are not going to understand on a visceral, boots on the ground level what your day looks like, what your responsibilities are, and why you're doing what you're doing. So, and this is coming from my own personal experience. So when I transitioned from being a wage earner, clocking in and clocking out of a job, into owning my own business and it becoming successful enough to where I could quit my job, my day job, I noticed a slow trend, which was people not really understanding when I couldn't make it somewhere. Because, well, you own a business, so you can just do whatever you want because you're the boss, and you must be rich and have all this free time. And how come you can't make it? I mean, you're not at work. You can leave whenever you want. You can do whatever you want. That's what they're thinking in their head. I just think it's so honestly annoying, but it's just true that when you have a normal clock in, clock out job, people will not try to manipulate you, argue with you, get mad at you about you saying, oh, you know what? I would love to come to your birthday party, but I work that day. I'm working until 9 p.m. that day, and your birthday party ends at 8 p.m. I can't make it. I'm working. If you have a job where you clock in and clock out, nobody argues with that. Nobody's going to go, oh, well, why can't you just take off the day from work and come to my party or come to my whatever thing that they have going on? I mean, maybe if it's, obviously if it's something super duper important, but just for the little things in life, the little parties and get-togethers and meetings and events and whatever the heck things. If somebody invites you somewhere and you have an hourly job where you're going to a company and you work for a company and you say, oh, I would love to come, but I work that day. I'm so sorry, I can't make it. I don't get off in time. Oh, okay. Then the answer is, all right, well, hey, next time, right? But what I noticed was when people around me started realizing that I owned my own business, then I would say, oh, God, you know what? I have so much. Usually I would say something like, oh, my God, I have so much to do. I'm so behind. I can't make it. And then it would be, oh, but come on, just come on. Just this once. It'll be fun. Oh, so-and-so's going to be there. Oh, but it's going to be so much good networking for you. Oh, but this. Oh, well, I went to your blah, blah, blah thing, and you're not going to come to mine when I came to yours? Well, why can't you just do it tomorrow? Just do this stuff tomorrow. Or do it the next day. Or why can't you just get the stuff done that you need to get done before my event? And just come on. And I've had people actually genuinely get pissed at me when I'm like, I can't go, dude. I have shit I have to do. Super annoying. Super annoying. Because most people are not realizing something that I didn't know until I owned my own business, which is, so when you are, running the day-to-day operations, that is a job. Okay, maybe if you're a silent partner and you're retired okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a typical small business owner where if you aren't getting your shit done that you need to get done, your business is going to go under. You're going to lose your house. You're not going to be able to pay your rent. You're going to be effing homeless. Tight margins. There was a time when if I closed my doors of my business for 1 day per month, I wasn't going to be able to pay my rent and my overhead and my employees and everything. Yeah, it was that tight. If I closed for 1 day, I wasn't going to make it, straight up. At the end of the month, I was literally within dollars. And actually a couple of months I was negative and had to get loans to cover wages in the beginning. So when I would say I had shit to do and I couldn't make it, people just didn't get it. They thought, oh, well, but you're a business owner. Not realizing, no, I have a job. It's a job. The business doesn't just run itself. It's not magic. Money isn't just flying down, pouring down out of the sky. I have to actually do a job description and get my tasks of my position done. Otherwise, the money doesn't come in. So how do you protect your time as a small business owner, as a business owner in general? But I'm coming from the perspective of a small business owner. So how do you protect your time when you genuinely don't have it and you just don't have time for those things anymore? You just don't have the time anymore. You'd love to go and you'd love to, but you know what? You can't go to everybody's party. You can't go to everybody's thing. You can't go to everybody's event. You can't be everybody's close buddy and friend. Sometimes you got to say no to shit that you want to go to, and it sucks. But you know what? That's life. And also most people would understand if you had just a normal clock in, clock out job. So how do you protect your time? All right, I'm going to give it to you real. One, I got to watch my language surrounding this, but honestly, there's certain times in life when you can fib a little bit, people. All right? And I'm not saying that you should be a liar and go around lying and whatever, but it's about the language that you use and being cognizant and aware of who you're speaking to and what they are going to understand. Because communication only works if the person that's receiving the message actually receives it in a way that they actually understand and that actually makes sense to them in the world that they live in with what they know. And so what I mean is this. After I realized that saying, oh my God, I would love to come, but I have so much to do, I'm just not going to be able to make it. Instead of saying something like that, which it just allows and invites the other person to say and believe and think things like, oh, well, just do the stuff that you have to do later. Why can't you just do it later or do it a different time? Instead of using that language, which is the truth in my head, I'm like, I have shit to do. I can't make it to your thing. You have to think of the other person of who you're talking to. If that other person is, it depends on who it is, right? I mean, I have colleagues and friends that if I said that to them, they'd be like, cool, gotcha, no problem, I get it. Catch you next time, chick, love ya. But I know who those people are. And those people are mature, badass, kick-ass people who understand responsibility in life and business on a very high level. And I know that I don't have to change my language to get them to understand that I can't make it somewhere. They're just going to get it because that's how they roll. But most people aren't that. And so sometimes you have to change your language surrounding your time. So instead of saying something like that, you can just simply change your language and say, I have a meeting at that time. I can't make it. Is that a lie? I mean, maybe. But who said your meeting has to be with somebody else? What if you have to have a meeting with yourself? Which is true. I actually have meetings with myself. I have Monday morning meetings with myself. M. I like M's if you couldn't tell. Every Monday morning, I have my Monday morning meeting with myself. And actually every morning I have a meeting with myself, but my Monday is my big one that I make. Here's another M for you, mandatory. It's my mandatory Monday morning meeting with myself. Yes. So, you know what? Sometimes in life, you have to change your language and you might have to say, you know what? I can't make it, buddy. I have a meeting. They're not going to die because you told them that you had a meeting and you couldn't make it. It's just realizing you need to protect your time. Or here's another one. I don't get off work until 11. And if they have a weird look on their face, then they have a weird look on their face. Then that's their problem, not your problem. Whatever, whatever needs to work, because in this one particular situation, your time, first of all, time is the only real luxury we have. Your time when you are going after a goal is extremely important and valuable. And the only person who is going to protect that time is you. Everybody that you come into contact with in life has their own agenda, has their own things that they want from you. They're thinking about what they want. As someone once told me, everybody is listening to WIIFM. What's in it for me? And so if someone wants you to do whatever it is that they want you to do, they're not worrying about how you're going to feed your family. They're not worrying about how you're going to feel about yourself when you're on your deathbed. They're not worrying about how your business might not make it next month. They're not worrying about your kids might not have money to go to college. They're not worrying about that you're in debt up to your eyeballs. They're not worrying about that your bank account is in the negative. They're not worrying about that your credit is in the shithole. They're not worrying about the fact that every single day that you get up, you're not living your dream and you feel unfulfilled and you want to commit suicide because of it. They're not thinking about any of that stuff because they're thinking about their own stuff. And so I'm not saying everybody's a bad person and everybody's selfish. And no, I'm just telling the truth. I'm real. I like to tell it how it is. Everybody is living in their own world. Everybody is living from their own perspective. And everybody is worrying about their own problems, their own issues, their own life trajectory, and their own problems. And so why would they care about protecting your time? They're not going to care about protecting your time. And that's why sometimes you'll notice if you say something like, sorry, can't make it. Most people, sorry, can't make it is not good enough for them. Because guess what? The next question is, why? Why do they need to know why? Do you think they really care about why you can't make it to whatever thing? No, they're only asking why so that they can have another volley after that. Oh, you hit the tennis ball back to me. I hit the tennis ball back to you. Hit the tennis ball back to me. I'll hit the tennis ball back to you. So they ask why. So you say, I can't because I have shitloads of stuff to do for my business. And then boom, hits the tennis ball back to them. Oh, we'll just do it later. And then the guilt trip, and then the manipulation, and until you're sitting there wasting another however many minutes explaining why you couldn't make it, instead of them just being able to take, can't make it. Or even simpler, no. It takes a very unique person, or maybe not unique, but someone who has gone through self-help and therapy and stuff like that. It takes someone like that to be able to hear a simple no thank you or no, and to not take it personally. I like to believe that I'm one of those people. And actually, I'm now at a point where when somebody says no, just like that, no, I love it. I love it. You know why I love it? Because I know that they've worked on themselves enough to not be kowtowing to me. And I think that's how you say that word. I've never really known how to say that word. Kowtowing, COWTOW. Somebody please email me and tell me how to say that word. Kowtowing. Okay, look, it just means when you don't feel like you have to placate everyone and kiss everybody's ass around you. Like, if you're that person that can really genuinely hear no and not be offended that they said no, just like that, without an explanation, then you're getting somewhere. But yes, there are certain areas in life, people, where you're not going to die if you tell a little bit of a fib or you change the language surrounding your, protecting your time, however you want to word it, so that, honestly, so that people back the fuck off a little bit, right? And I'm just simply speaking from experience, because I was the person for years who you could manipulate me into going to whatever party, event, thing, whatever. If you just pushed a little bit, like, fine, I'll go. And you know what? Then I would go. Then I would be resentful the entire time, pissed at the person who I felt manipulated me. So I'd be at whatever event, not having a good time, looking at my watch, stressed out about the shit that I know I need to get done that's not getting done, having anxiety, freaking halfway panicking, feeling like my gut just blah. And then, getting all pissed off inside, but smiling on the outside, and then going home, that whole day was a waste. I didn't get anything done. And then the next day being backed up. And then now I have to deal with twice the work because I didn't get the shit done yesterday that I was supposed to get done, because I let whoever person step over my boundaries for my time. And then I'm pissed at them. Then I don't want to talk to them. And then on. Why? Because I didn't have set boundaries that I knew how to protect, and I didn't understand the power of language. Watch your language about how you say things. Can't, I'm working until 8 p.m. Can't, I have a meeting until 9. I'd love to go, but me and my project manager have a meeting until 9 p.m. Hey, I'm my own project manager. So me and my project manager, who is also me, we have a meeting at that time, and we can't make it. I mean, I've had people do that to me. I knew they didn't have a meeting, but I didn't care. What do I care? I'm not like, oh, they're a bad person because they told me they had a meeting And I know they didn't have a meeting. It's none of my damn business, honestly. I don't know what they're doing. It's none of my business, not my concern. All I know is I asked them to do whatever thing, and they said no, cool, whatever, move on. Not even thinking about it. And also valuing your own time, right? And understanding that everybody's listening to WIIFM. They're not going to care about if I don't get my dream in my life. You know, and it's nothing personal on their part. It's just they have their own dreams that they're trying to work on. And I'm not sitting there stressed about their dream every single moment of the day. I'm trying to work on my dream. All right, guys. Remember to demonstrate excellence and bravery. And each one teach.
The information provided in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice, investment advice, or medical advice. The host is not a financial advisor nor a medical doctor or licensed therapist. Any financial or medical decisions made based on the information in this podcast are made at the listener's own risk. It is recommended that listeners consult with licensed professionals such as CPAs, financial advisors, and licensed physicians before making any investment or medical decisions. The host and creators of this podcast accept no responsibility or liability for any loss or damages incurred as a result of the information provided in this podcast.